I don't want to be
You,
out
yes,
of
sir. You want to
pocket.
be on the camera? I think you go on the camera. You want to be on the camera?
We
You
got a
don't want to be on
spot
the
for you
camera?
right here.
On the floor, you ain't right.
So she's going to
Okay.
introduce and then you can see.
Hi, everybody. Y'all ready?
All right. We're ready. Is that too much background?
Stay.
Well, you the stubborn one, then she had to drag you.
Hey,
Not just at the drive.
In other words, she dragged you.
I thought I was dropping her off and
Dropping her off and you wasn't coming in? Yeah, right.
okay, so that's the microphone that's picking you up, y'all. Hi, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to Reality Speaks TV. This is a special addition to the podcast. Good afternoon, and welcome to a Circle of Strength follow-up conversation. First, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to Mohawk Valley Health System for sponsoring this gathering along with the NAACP. And I'm not sure if I'm forgetting the organization, but if I am, please forgive me. And this conversation is our commitment to men's health and early detection. It is still September, which is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. So that's what makes this podcast extra special. We also would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the Coward L. Crooms Business, Education, Cultural, and Activity Center for opening your doors and creating a welcome space for our community to come together and have this important conversation. Today, we continue the powerful dialogue that began at the night of Brotherhood and Wellness. We'll hear reflections, key takeaways, and how the message of prostate cancer awareness is already inspiring action. Thank you for all being here and showing our men what we need them, that we need them, love them, and support them. So let's keep the circle of strength alive. And I guess I have questions. First of all, I want to know, everybody's here today. Give yourself a round of applause. You could be anywhere in the world and you decided to be here, putting yourself first. That needs to be acknowledged. And I wanted to start off with something general. Like, I guess what inspired you to come to the first conversation? I want you to just say your name and why this topic is important to you. And I guess I'll start with order of appearance. Zeke, I believe I saw you first.
Yes, I'm Zeke. It's it was very informative.
Okay.
However, even though that is important, yes, I agree. However, what's really plaguing us is mental illness. And when they said that it's stress that brings up, it causes prostate cancer. So we got to get to the root of the evil, and that is mental illness. Because when you have mental illness, it is brought on by stress, leads to depression, and all of that all ties into causing cancer, whether it be prostate.
Thank you
So
so much.
mental illness
Mental
is what's
illness.
really plaguing this community as a whole.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Zeke. We're going to unpack that and talk about that a little bit more later. But first, I want to get to know each panelist. Next.
Oh, my name's Dave Laguerre. And what did I get out of
Oh, what inspired you to just come and join the conversation anyway?
well, quite honestly, my wife, as far as participating. But for me, I learned. Wait, let me switch that around a little. Uh, there's a lot of people in our community that we have this. Well, for my generation, we had this thing where we used to just like ride it out. You get sick, your teeth hurt, your tooth hurts, whatever. You like, you know what? Throw a band-aid on it and just keep going. I mean, whether it's
So
healthcare or not having, especially as a man, it's like,
yeah,
oh, really?
you're not allowed to cry.
Yeah, basically. So when you feel bad, you just say, I'll take an aspirin. My grandma always had castor oil. That fixed
Oh,
everything.
wow.
That's
That's
what,
interesting.
yeah, it's like,
Castor oil.
yeah, that was it. But you know, as a community, that's what we're used to. We'll, you know, just ride out the pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll go away.
Yeah.
You know, your leg ain't falling off. You can still keep going.
Right.
You know.
Okay, thank you. And right next to you must be the lovely wife.
Allegedly, 43 years and counting. Here we go.
Oh.
That's not allegedly anymore.
Exactly. So for me, it was mass critical to be here for a variety of reasons. There are so few places that speak about issues that affect the Black community and specifically men. And I think for me, what was so epic is there are so many organizations that try to bring out communities of colors with varying messages, and they don't succeed with the efficacy that the Carol Crooms Center did. And they provided some ingenious ways. They provided you with mocktails, they provided you with food, and then they lured you into a dynamic message. And it was just so powerful to see over 40 or 50 Afro American and Latino men of varying ages here to see a film about prostate cancer. And for me, I thought one of the biggest takeaway was what Dr. Cynthia Jones said and Dr. Hassin from MVHS. They said that this is a disease that affects people. There's high inequality and morality rates for Black men. And they said 99% of this is curable.
Mm-hmm.
And what Dr. Cynthia Jones said, which boggled my mind, she says, look, you rather try to find out about prevention than be at the funeral. And moreover, what was surprising for me was to hear Courtney's story on how many of his relatives were impacted by prostate cancer. To see young Larry and have his wife prod him on to be more proactive with nutrition and prevention to make sure that he was around. And it was an entertaining way for the film Black Walnut to get across the fact that, you know what, this hits across all economic levels. We saw musicians, we saw lawyers, we saw people from various forms of life that were impacted by this case. And then the other subconscious scenario is that we, as women and caretakers, have an innate responsibility to drag our reluctant heroes to these doctors to make sure that they do prevention.
Wow. I love that introduction. I feel like you read my script over here. Like you covered just about everything.
I did hack the computer.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So just your name and what actually brought you to the conversation. What motivated you to come to the conversation?
My name is Junior Troutman. I'm glad to be here. Glad to share. Courtney, that's my friend from way, way back, high school and stuff. So for me, the experience didn't start until I actually went through it myself. Because what I've had experienced that as Black men, this is something we don't talk about. We don't sit around and talk about health, mental health. We talk about sports and stuff. So for my experience and what I've been around, that conversation don't come up much because I think it's a fear. As Black men, I don't think we want to deal with it. I don't think we want to accept it and say it can't happen to us.
Wow.
Piggybacking off of what he said, home remedies, castor oil,
Yeah.
put a Band-Aid on it. That's what we were told as Black kids,
Yes.
Black children, get up, you all right, stop crying. So we were groomed to not deal with real life stories and what would I call it? Life experience.
Yeah.
But when happening to me, reality hit at 50 some years old. even though I believe I was dealing with this situation when I was in my 20s, but it was pushed off as something else, something else, something else, something else. And I believe I lived with this for 30 something years, 40 something years, you know, with the pain and thinking it's something else. But I remember with myself, I had no choice but to go to the doctors. I believe God told me this is what you need to do, because if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't have went. But my situation got to the point so bad that almost passing out. So, you know, that was a blessing. And the thing I learned now with my, you know, I had the surgery and I had the Whipple surgery. So that was something new to me. And what I've heard about the surgery and what I went through with the surgery, when he said about mental health, through everything I went through with the surgery and everything, the mental health part was the worst. Because it was just I was just all over the place. I was going through so many different emotions, a lot of emotions that as a black man, you can't do that. That's, you know, the society don't want us as black men to show a lot of those emotions, even as a kid. But you know, sometime life will make you wake up. And I tell people, I tell black men, listen to your body. You know, I remember as kids playing sports, I know I didn't listen to my body. A lot of times, you know, stretch, do this, do that. I'm good. Just go out there on the basketball court, run,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
young,
and
you're
just don't do
invincible.
nothing, don't stretch. But when you get that later in age, you have no choice.
That bone will crack.
One way I say with me, I say God gonna get me to do it one way or the other.
Right.
So that's what I learned. I mean, I'm a big believer in God, so you know that's what I got out of it. And my surgery, it was not fun, and statistically, it's very high. It's not good. So I didn't listen to all that. I just believed in what I believe and kept going forward.
Wow. I'm really interested in, you said a lot of important things, most especially about, being black and trying to have to like, kind of mask your pain or anything that you're going through. So I do have questions for everybody. These introductions have been phenomenal. So, last and certainly not least, introduce yourself and what brought you in to have this conversation or to hear about it.
Yeah, I'm Steve Taylor, and I'm probably one of the more senior members of the group that gathered. And your question is interesting because number one, a lot of this is personal to me. And what compelled me to come to the event in the first place is so much bigger once you consider what happened once we got here. So I that's why I like your first question. What compelled you to be here?
Yeah.
Well, for me, again, as one of the more senior members, I think I spent the last year in a state of denial. I mean, yeah, I'm going through all of this now, and I've been fighting it all the way, you know. And then all the tests you can think of, all the MRIs, all the PET scans, all the blood tests, all the urines. Um, 3 urologists I've been dealing with so far, and I'm still going through it. So when Courtney and Tioka gave me the personal invitation, because we're family, and a special young lady in my life was the one that really got me thinking, because again, going through seeing all these doctors, the first urologist I saw did the biopsy, which was a painful situation, was very painful. And I swore to God that nobody will ever go down there and start probing again like that. But the doctor said when the biopsy results came back, he says, well, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is, yeah, you got something down there. The good news is it's so minor, so minute that I'm not even worried about it. Come back and see me in a year. So I went to my significant other, who is a nurse, and I told her, I says, you know, the doctor said he's not worried. And she says, why would the doctor not be worried? She says, well, he said it's so minor. She says, I don't like that answer. And then I thought you was going to be happy that I'm giving you good news. She says, I don't like that answer. You need to get another opinion. So, and I did get another opinion, and I've been getting other opinions ever since. So when I came, I says, maybe this will help me get out of denial. Maybe if I get to this session, somebody will say something that will make me feel comfortable about coming to grips with my situation. And one thing that was interesting, all these doctors and all the nurses, everybody that, you know, that I've had to see, even the lab people, you know, they had asked that one burning question. Okay, who all in your family died and why? And to what we talked about earlier about being young, and it's been only so long that I started to even think about a prostate. Yeah. Oh, we got one of them. What do they do? What is that? What's the job of the prostate? I went years and years and years not even thinking about that. But it compelled me to want to understand more. And when they said who all in your family and why, I'm like, okay, I started listening to everybody in my family that died. Mom, dad, my brothers, my sister, my other sister, my other sister. You know, it went on and on and on. But I was at a loss for, well, how did they die? I don't know. I know there was some cancer somewhere in there, but it wasn't discussed. It wasn't taught. It's like, okay, so and so died. Okay, well, let's go to the funeral and get it over with. Let's grieve and let's do all of that. But to probe into why. And then the second question they ask is, do you have children? Well, yeah, I got 2 sons. Have you had this conversation with them? No. And fortunately, just recently, I did have this conversation with my youngest son. And I says, not for nothing, but I really would like for you to get a primary and go get it checked out, because I don't want to be the reason why you don't take care of what you should take care of. So yeah, we can go on and on. And then once I got to the session, I was pretty much like Dr. Jones. It was an emotional thing to walk through that door and see this room filled, 40, 50 some odd people. And I says, oh shoot, I'm not in this alone. Maybe there's somebody in here that has a story similar to mine. And then the testimonies that started ringing out. Okay, yeah, the movie was spectacular. And I also got a lot that the author of the movie, right, was right there on screen talking to us. I said, oh shoot, that's the man. And we're talking to him and he's apologizing for not being. I'm like, dang, imagine if he had actually been here.
Yeah.
You know, I probably would have been so dumbfounded. I don't even know whether I'd be able to speak. But to see all those faces, and then as we got to talking, because a lot of those people I've been knowing for years and years, I'm like, oh, you've been through this too? Oh yeah, I'm being tested. I've been tested. And then like Junior and I have been really like close in terms of conversation and brothers, but I never knew his story. And for Junior to get up there and say his story, and then a lot of other fellas did that, I'm like, okay, maybe this is something that I can feel good about. And it only got better after that. And
Thank you.
mhm.
I really appreciate that. Wow, this was first of all, that was a wonderful introduction. I'm not completely through with introduction because I have Brother Courtney Muhammad and Sister Tioka Muhammad here. I have a question for you all too, which is different from their question, but he touched on it. First of all, my first question is, what makes the food so good here? What's the food?
Commercial break, right?
but But the real question is, most importantly, like not only what motivated you all and inspired you all to host this important conversation, but how did you all feel having 50 plus Black men focus on their health right here at the Carol L. Crooms Becker Center?
So for me, it was very emotional. Like I couldn't believe they kept coming in. And I'm like, wow. And I was just honored that they trust us to come to to this space and participate in something that they don't necessarily want to participate in.
Yes.
It really did feel like it was a trust thing. Like they knew that coming in these walls, that they were coming into a safe haven and that they can talk about things, or they're going to learn about things that they normally won't really, get an opportunity, to partake
Yeah.
in. And I just thought like, wow, I think that was the number one thing for me. It was like, it was very emotional, but it was like, wow, they really came out and trust that we would take care. So I'll let you answer as well.
Right, starting off in the name of God, Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I mean, it had to be exactly that because as we set to plan this, my thing was clearly to get Black men to deal with health. It's like pulling nails or pulling teeth. It's not an easy role. It's to the point what Brother Troutman said. There's so many things that have conditioned us and made us very how would I put it, man? Just didn't believe in the systems that are out here. There's another word I want to use, but I'm holding that down right now. But because we don't have trust, first of all, and then at the same time, we don't really understand what our position and role in life is and how important our life is. We don't go that extra mile to make sure that we take care of ourselves. In some cases, we believe that we're expendable. So that kind of plays into the idea that we don't trust going to see the doctor or going to the hospital. So I knew when it was, hey, we got to get them in the house. And I was like, oh, no, sis, we got to get the sisters here. Because it's statistically proven that if you have somebody, a woman by your side, a wife or a close friend, girlfriend, they're going to make sure because they see the things happening to you in real time and they get you to go to the doctor and check on it. In many cases, statistically, it shows that has saved our lives. I've seen it in my own home. So to be challenged to get Black men out, it was clear. We're not coming out just from a flyer or something we might hear on the radio or even a big billboard. We have to get that personal call. And we have to be sold into that this is very important, but it's even more personal for us to come out and be here together as men. So with that said, I put my prayers out, I called on the Most High and started making calls, and a shift took place. When I seen my brother, Junior Troutman, and I'm riding down the street and he literally called me out, brother, like I knew that somehow something shifted in the atmosphere, meaning that we were going to get the numbers that we were shooting for, and that there was going to be an outpouring because it's just time for that outpouring. So as your shirt says, women in support of men's health, I've seen women come together and say, this is what's going to happen. I give all praise and thanks to Allah for my wife, for her standing and getting the sisters. And then literally when they come in and y'all show yourself with y'all shirts on and everything, the brother screamed out, man, where's my shirt?
I was jealous.
Yeah, we didn't get a shirt.
Thought this was all about us.
When he said that, it made me again say, you know what, this is bigger than just men's health. This is a spiritual movement that's taking place where God is putting it in us that there is a value and a place for us. So literally, I ran in the back and produced men in support of men's health. We need each other. We support each other. And we strengthen each other. And I'm seeing that take place right now. One love, And I'm starting to see a movement come. So I don't want to continue on. Y'all know I can go.
Wait, are those shirts, the shirts still available? Let me get that shirt in
There
the
you
camera.
go. There you go. And
Just so you all know, right over here at the TLC, with the men in support. I actually saw this sweatshirt online by
Yes.
Mona Lisa and
Mhm.
Larry,
Mhm.
and I really was delighted to see this shirt. We're just gonna sit this right here.
yeah, Harry's like, yo, the weather's changing, man. I got to be able to, rock this during the wintertime. So we made sweats and tees, and that's part of how we do it.
Yeah. So I do have thank you, brother and sister. So I want to move on to the next question, but I do want to know from over here, how did one of you, just choose one that feels compelled to answer, how did you all feel to see the room packed with so many people? And to my understanding, it was more people who didn't come that were supposed to come.
Yeah, we had
So,
18 people signed up. that didn't
18
show up.
people signed up who didn't show up. So, life happens, but can you imagine, So anybody over here on this side want to say how they felt when they saw everybody in here?
We're all looking at each other.
Well, for me, it was like I saw people I knew that I haven't seen in a long time, or I see them in passing, and how we could just come together, brothers, and still we joke around, kid with each other, and to sit here and share this experience with someone you call brother is just awesome. It was good to see, like I forgot your name.
Steve.
Like Brother Steve said, he didn't feel alone anymore. There was like-minded people. And when I saw people, I'm like, wow, this is really important. I'm like, oh, these brothers in here. It was amazing.
So you were surprised.
I was surprised at the same time I wasn't, because I already touched base with a couple brothers, because one of them tried to invite me, not knowing I had already RSVP'd everything a week in advance. So when some of the brothers that knew me tried to invite me, I'm like, oh, don't worry, bro, I'm gonna see you there. Don't worry, I'll be there. And so when I showed up, I wasn't surprised to see some of them, because we already spoken to each other, and we also hung out afterwards. So it wasn't no surprise, but it was awesome to see all brothers come together with something serious. We come together sometimes, we'll come together for foolishness, or we'll come together to see a football game. We'll come together to do something. But when you're talking about something on health, that is something that I've never seen before, but it was good to see a bunch of good brothers come together
Yes.
for something positive.
Can I interject? It was Dr. Jones' birthday
Was it?
that day,
Oh.
and she had been trying to get the message out about prostate cancer and come to these screenings, and really wasn't having much success going through mainstream media and different things. So she literally cried when she came in and saw 50 people coming to hear the message. But not only was it epic, but it was the variety. Young men, older men you had never seen. And for such a topic, I can just tell you that outside of people clubbing, let's keep it 100, outside of people doing basketball, we don't see this kind of folks to come together. And one of the reasons they came together was that they felt this was a safe space to be vulnerable. And I remember David Dancy, who works for the Utica Phoenix, as one of the media personalities, telling my husband, "Don't be scared, man. You know, if you take the test, it's harmless and that kind of thing." And seeing other guys share with other people. And for me, that was major, because I remember trying for years to get David to go to a doctor. And he like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't want to know. I'm not going. No, no, no. You know, and particularly when it comes to prostate cancer, because I remember David had to do a test. And I remember him being at home, scared, on wits' ends, wondering whether he would actually be here. So when he got his results, he jumped for joy. But more importantly, it reminded me of other folks in my family that died of cancer. And I got a son that's 40. So when they said, you know what, as a black male, don't wait till 45, I'm like, okay, that's my next victim up here. But we got to come get some fish. And T.O. could tell him, by the way, you need to go take that prostate test. That's what we're going to do. But more specifically, one of the things she said is that, look, if I got 40 people out, I got messengers that are going to disseminate this information to more people, and the word is going to get out. And you find it interesting because mainstream media didn't cover this. They didn't think of it as being an important enough topic, but having gotten the information about how it impacts folks, was major. I wrote a story that was covered in 2 places, but had I not had the flyer and had not been endorsed to have my husband sign up that day, I wouldn't have gotten the information.
I know.
Oh, thank you. So
Beat the man up.
now we're going to talk about the impact of the film. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And we actually do have a question, well, actually some reflection surrounding Dr. Jones. I didn't know it was her birthday that day. Happy belated birthday to her. She's over there at Mosaic Health here in Utica, New York. So I wanted to talk about the impact of the Black Walnut by Terrence Affair Anderson, Terrence Affair. What emotions or thoughts did this film spark for you? I want to ask that question to you.
Me, okay.
Yes, because you just let us know about your testimony. So I'm wondering, somebody who you were saying that maybe it was going on for a little while. How did that film, impact you?
Well, like I said, I think I said before, the movie was good for me. It was good to listen to and learn some new stuff, and then hear some old stuff. See, because I'm a funny person. I like to laugh. So when I seen that part in it with the couple,
Yeah.
that made me happy, because sometimes people tell me, "Man, do you joke about everything?" See, but seeing somebody and seeing him go through that, and the connection that they had, and the love that they showed towards each other with laughter, I see myself.
Yeah.
Because there was times that, I went the emotions, like I said, the emotion is rough. It was rough for me. So, 1 minute, I remember telling my sister, I said, I said, I ain't never seen this many emotions in myself in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Because I went through so many different emotions in a period of time, in like 5 minutes. 1 minute smiling, 1 minute crying, 1 minute. I mean, I don't even know how many emotions can you have. So a lot of it was new to me. So me laughing at everything. And I've been through it, and I was laughing like my brother, like I shared the story before. My brother, when I start telling people, my brother said to me, and a couple of people said to me, I treated it like I was going to watch a football game or something. When I said, I have cancer, and what you think the score is going to be? My emotion went from that day, it just went. I didn't. I I just went. I just went, and everything fell in place. Everything came. I dealt with emotions, like daytime. I'd be daytime, and I said, "Oh man, I want to go to sleep." Nighttime came. Oh, I wish I can't wait till in the morning. So my emotions were all messed up. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep good. I was, so many. It was just a lot for one person. And one more thing, it's seeing other people that I seen at the event, seeing other people and saying, "Wow, you don't know what each other are going through. And then when me seeing different people, and I was like, oh wow, because I'm sure they probably said the same thing about me. Like, oh, June, whoa, wow, I didn't know that, June. So that's how I was. I was looking at other people like, even if I didn't say anything to them,
Yeah.
I'm looking at them from across the room like, wow, okay. But that's something that we as Black people need to talk about,
Yeah.
need to share. We do it with everything else.
Yeah.
We gossip about everything else. So
Mm.
why not talk about something that's very interested in and can save a life and pass it down to our younger people? That is, I like the thing is to say, it's all right. I love to tell men it's all right to cry. It's okay.
But that's not how
But we gotta
we were
break
taught.
it.
I know I wasn't.
I wasn't
I
either.
was taught the only time a man, this is how I was, and this is just me. The only time a man is allowed to cry is at a funeral. He got to pass then. And then you cry in front of a friend. You cry in private. Other than that, you don't cry. Because if you cry, it meant you was weak. And when you see grown men cry, I'm like, yo, stop crying. Stop being a punk. That's how I was taught. He was like, yo, suck it up. Be a man. You're not allowed to cry. Cut that foolishness out. That's for women. Women do that emotional stuff. Not no grown man. That's just how I was taught.
Yeah.
Up until like I was around 30. Then somebody broke me out of that. And it was like, yo, you're not less of a man if you cry now.
Yeah.
But before then, I was one of the hardest people. I didn't care.
Yeah. And you're a comedian too, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you ask that question, what the thing that was really compelling to me about the film is that it came from so many different directions. There was so much going on, from start to finish. And I was just sharing that with some people that was sitting around with me and we placed the bet that I bet everybody in this room can identify with something on that film. So it came, it touched you. It came home. At some point, everybody was affected by something there. And again, I think having the conversation with him just kind of like was the frosting on the cake. That just solidified the whole meaning of the whole event.
That's exactly why the platform to be able to talk about it is very important, So to have this platform again as a follow-up is even more important because there's obviously things that I missed that I didn't hear before. So I'm also grateful and humbled by this opportunity. But Steve, let me ask you, because the gentleman he actually was here, like mentioned before, through Zoom. Was there any particular thing that stood out to you about your dialogue with him or him being here more than others?
Yeah, it was like it was intimate in that it was like I was having a conversation with him and it was just us two. It's like it's just as if he called me or we met on the street and we just started talking and started gelling, and it was all of a sudden it was just me and him. It was that personal, So that's what I'm saying. If he had actually been here in person, I probably would have been overwhelmed. But just being able to talk to him, it was special. And he made me feel comfortable. It was like he's talking to me like he's been knowing me all my life. Yeah.
That is special.
And can I share too?
Absolutely.
What really got me too is when he started to talk about his story. And I'm like, dang, I thought I had problems. And so it took a lot of courage, I know, for him to even put that film together. And it must have been very difficult for him on a personal level because of his personal experiences. And I didn't know he went through all of that, but he was comfortable disclosing, the fact that he's still dealing with it. And at an advanced stage too. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
So is that part, did that resonate with you the most?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because of, like I said, I'm still going through this, and I'm thinking about what I'm going through, and I'm like, that there's always somebody that's going to have a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
And he definitely had a bigger challenge.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Mm.
So I didn't have any questions surrounding mental health, but I did want to take a moment to shine a light on it. This is just coming off of the top of my head, and I would just ask Brother Courtney Muhammad about this topic because you are a minister within our community, and I would like to think that you've seen our brothers and possibly some of our sisters that are plagued by this mental health state. How do you feel about the state of mental health in the Black community in general? But I want to specifically tune into the mental health surrounding going to see a physician.
Wow, that's big, sis.
Mhm.
You know, right. See, Utica's a nut house.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
I don't think we're unique. I don't think we're
The
unique.
U stands for you.
They like some humor, right? A little
Yeah.
levity, right?
Got to.
It does have some roots in an insane asylum. Matter of fact, being the first one, the lunatic asylum being the first one in New York State was in Utica, New York. And I did some of the history of it. And you come to see that there was more understanding and more compassion in how to deal with mental health. And that those that were studying it, that were here in Utica, they didn't look at it as something was wrong with the person. It was the society that they were a part of. That if you can bring normalization in their surroundings, normalization in their diet, if you can get them to productive work, that is the healing. Matter of fact, when they were studying it right here in Utica, with those who were over the was it the Utica lunatic asylum,
That's what it's
which
called.
is
Yes, that's what
it's
it's
the
called.
facility now. Back then it was called that. They really had a humane way of seeing what people were going through and how to get them back on track. So it wasn't drugs. Drugs was something that was very clear they understood did not work. I can't remember the gentleman's name or the doctor's name, the psychologist's name, but I felt he was right on point. It's really how society has gone mad, that people trying to survive in a setting in which is not conducive to their growth and development.
Yeah.
As far as education is concerned, once again, as far as diet is concerned, and just community relations. So they understood back then that if you just found ways to normalize the person, to pull them out of the rat race, and then put them in situations in which they might be farming, put them in situations in which they might be creative. Matter of fact, those that were the workers in the Salem Asylum, they were to treat the patients like they were family. So it wasn't like they wore white coats and they stood over them and they analyzed what they were doing. They sat, they ate, they farmed, they did creative things, everything to normalize the individual. Now, we don't see that happening. They're commercializing off of the condition in which I believe those in power have placed to put the people in. So with that said, yeah, absolutely, we have lost our mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we are no longer our natural self, and people are exploiting that. So I don't see the condition as something that we need to look at the person. We have to really look at how society is shaping and molding the people to act out the way they do. Big pharma medicine is big business, you know. A lot
Legalized
of
drug
jobs.
dealers.
Yeah. You know, so with that said, there are ways to correct it. Are we willing to invest? Now, if church continues to go the route that it has been going, I'm not talking all churches, mosques, synagogues, and places of worship, whereas it becomes a business. And it's not the business of healing any longer. It's not the business of challenging those in power that continue to exploit the people. Then the church, the mosque, the spiritual houses have lost their way. So we need to get back to, as Brother Troutman said, and Steve and others have said, back to community or building a community and get back to natural things like just simply working. A lot of the folks that are out here that they say have mental health issues, they've been broken. And if you can just find a way to put them to work and start to treat them like you would want to be treated, you will start to see they come out of that mental craziness that we see all the time. And I heard Zeke say it, man. Sometimes when we confront our people out here, they're so far gone that if you say something, they might come at you. They might feel it's because when I talk to them, they say, everybody's looking down on me. Everybody's pointing a finger. Everybody thinks I'm the one that's wrong, whereas something happened that broke me. And I'm trying to find my way again. And it's hard to find a way when the people who are supposed to be responsible are putting the responsibility only on them. We need to start to change that. So to your point, yeah, we crazy.
I remember when we used to the crazy place, we call it the crazy place too. And I remember like if I had a problem or issue, I remember like one of my family members or a friend could say, bring me up there. And the other person would get a couple dollars. Do you remember that? They used to go up there. You could, if I had a problem, you could bring me up there, and if I stayed up there maybe a couple days or a weekend, you would get paid for it, and then they would help you whatever what's going on with you. This was a long time ago, and I mean back then it was when we looked out for each other. I think a little bit more than we do now, and we notice things more. Now we just everything is just black and distractions. Got so many different distractions that I mean, even for myself, even sometimes I'm distracted by a game or just laughter when I need to go take care of something. See, but that's what I've learned after my ordeal. I need to check myself more and more and more because I found out other people are not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So we have to look out. We have to check ourselves and look in the mirror and say, are you doing what you need to do?
But can I say something? That's why I think the Carol Crooms Center is an agent of change. And I'm just going to give you an example. They had the Roots and Wings summer program, right? They got together, decided that these kids needed to do productive things, were not sponsored by a 501c3, not for profit, or got money, got together and said, this is the plan. And what I thought was so dynamic out of this is they had community circles. Okay, those kids sat in a circle and they discussed whatever issues were affecting them. But not only that, they gave them culturally appropriate affirmations. I am good. I am kind. I am going to do these things. They showed them how to cook. They brought them in various mentors that did different things. You had someone that did construction. You had someone that was a doctor. You had someone was an editor. Plants. You showed them how to be efficient. Those kids went out there and they learned plants. They learned how to do hair. They had a barber. They did a budget. Okay, you got little kids doing a budget, understanding that mommy or daddy or grandma don't have the money. I have to sit and focus on what priorities are. Okay, so if I get that game, then I can't get X, Y, and Z. But this was the genius about thinking about how to be self-sufficient and do mental health. So they were learning appropriate life skills. And I'm going to tell you, since I can't cook, I needed to be in that cooking class and probably that hair class, because if it was, my family would probably not be as dysfunctional as they are now.
And she taught the kids how to write cursive.
Yeah,
I was learning that when I was little, and these kids are learning it now. That is just awesome.
Being that Dawn mentioned cooking, I'll be remiss to cook. I've never tasted no eggplant parmesan like that in my life. Sister Tioka, before we take comments from the audience and people on the panel, I'm not going to take you too long. I just got one or two more questions. But I have to ask you, Sister Tioka, I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but were you deliberate with the menu? What was it purposeful? you know.
Absolutely. So, one, you bring in people into a space, right? And this is a different venue to have a discussion about prostate health, right? And not to downgrade the idea of prostate health, but we overall is health, right? So we're here trying to promote health. So the thought was, okay, well, all right, how can I get them something healthy to eat? Right? Because this is what the cafe is representing, like, very intentional with everything that we cook, right? Everything, even though we fry fish, right? And people will say, oh, frying is probably not the healthiest thing, but we fry in olive oil.
Yeah.
So
At a certain temperature.
and right, like really conscious, purposeful thing, thought out things. So when it came down to the eggplant, I was like, so probably gonna have a bunch of meat eaters in here. And eggplant is hearty if you cook it right. So it's fulfilling. So, and it's tasty. So I mean, if you normally would eat like a chicken parmesan, the way that I cook the eggplant, you wouldn't miss a chicken parmesan.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just thought that would be good. And then the rice with the, with the garlic and the basil, everything was intentional.
Yeah.
The cabbage was intentional, which is a very good vegetable, a very fine vegetable. Cabbage, it's very good. Yeah. And then the other thing is, so we grew up eating sweet potatoes.
That's right.
And sweet potatoes, even though they're high in vitamin K, they're not good for you. I mean, you got sugar, right?
Yeah.
Starch, sugar. So we don't eat sweet potatoes. So if you come to our fish fries, you'll get candy carrots. So this time I said, well, I'm not gonna do candy carrots. I'll do the candy butternut squash because that's something that actually tastes more like a sweet potato.
Yes.
And it's actually healthier for you. So yes, everything was intentional. And I didn't have anybody complain. And I checked the garbage. It was not, nobody was throwing food away. I was like, wow, this worked. But thank you for your question. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because you were pulled in, even though you're doing the podcast right now, you were pulled into an idea of how to make this a meaningful event and support our men's health. What did you think about what you one leading up to doing it, and the ideas that came out of how we were going to do, how we was going to pull it off, or having them in here and serving them food and, showing a silent support for every man that was in here. What did you think about that?
I thought that was really incredible experience for me. And I want to thank you, Sister Tioka, for even inviting me to do that. Because I have 5 brothers, no sisters, and I think men are annoying and they don't listen. And then my brothers, they don't listen to me to this day. But truly, to be a service of them, most especially to highlight the fact that it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and to learn all of those good things, it really was a humbling experience. It felt really, really, really good for me. It was actually very rewarding. I went home. And I still had to process. As a matter of fact, it's a little over a week. Yesterday made a week, and I'm still processing, all of the information that came in and how I felt and how I'm feeling, even how I'm feeling now in real time, having this conversation. So I guess it was a supreme feeling, and it was I think it was divine timing, and I also feel like it was extremely rewarding. So thank you for that question.
And I'm going to interject. Sister Tioka, I really appreciate you. And the women did an outstanding job. They put themselves to the side. It was like, yo, why you got to serve these men? I know some of them, and I knew some of them, and they were selfless. They did whatever it took to make us happy. Even if it was a cup of water, they would put themselves to the side and like, here you go, my brother. And not only did you women do it, y'all did it with class. You did it with excellence. You did it with style. You did it with grace. And more importantly, you made every single man feel welcome. And I didn't hear not one man say, yo, some of them had attitudes. No, because
And that's rare.
Thank you. And y'all made, yes,
Sorry, that's rare.
and y'all made every single man feel welcomed, and that's what it was about. And when we felt welcomed, we're around to be around other brothers that are just as welcoming, and that's what made that whole thing a really major big success.
Oh,
So
thank
big up
you.
to you.
Well, just
Now,
That's
you need to
beautiful.
stop holding out, Sister Tioco, on the vegetable lasagna. I'm not gonna do anything for you, all right?
It's coming back.
just walking through the door,
Yes.
I felt, maybe like 35,
Oh, wow.
35 when they
Yeah.
when you walked in the door, they said, "Welcome, young man." I had to turn around and look. There's somebody behind me.
You must be talking to that young man behind me.
Welcome,
I'm
young
in my
man. I'm
40s.
like, so that was y'all did
Y'all
good
did
job.
it. Y'all did
And
it.
if she said this was something they threw at you,
Yes.
so I mean,
Usually Sister Tioka just throws stuff at me.
Hold
Like
on.
a cat in
I catch it. I
so
catch
long,
it.
so long. Hey,
All praises
sometimes that's
due.
the best way to do it.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, you and the women did an outstanding job.
So
Couldn't
thank
commend
you,
you
thank
enough.
y'all for
Thank
making
you
us
so
feel
much.
welcome.
So I don't want to keep you here too long. I see a slew of comments here. I don't know.
Oh,
as well as I saw a hand here in the audience. So I want to get to the comments, but before we get to the comments, I want to talk about Dr. Jones and the panel of doctor. I forgot the name of the other doctor.
Goldberg.
Hassan.
Dr. Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Okay.
Hassan Goldberg.
Urologist. Yeah.
All right. So from that, I want to know Sister Tioka saw Dr. Jones get emotional even before she got on the panel. I didn't know it was her birthday. You saw her, she had a birthday.
Yeah.
I saw her get emotional twice on the panel. So I can only imagine the impact. And she actually mentioned that this is the reason why she went to law school. I mean, excuse me, she went to medical school. For a moment like the one she was getting at that time. So what information from the physicians panel, especially Dr. Jones, had the greatest impact? And ever since then, I understand that one of us here today on the panel actually got tested as a result of the panel or of the event. So I want to touch on that before we get to the comments. So I guess I'll start with you, David. Yes, I'll start with you this time. I just want to give everybody their spotlight. I guess the question is, what about the panel had the greatest impact? And I'm putting emphasis on Dr. Jones because she stated that this is the reason why she went to medical school.
Well, the one thing is that she was actually very detailed in all the answers that she gave. She she actually went in depth, on a lot of stuff. And I've been to things before where, people kind of like give you a quick answer and like next. But it's like she just kept going and explaining this and that and what you could do and where you could go. And, it I don't know how else to say it. She did what she's supposed to. I mean, you felt like you were actually her patient.
Yeah.
For, each person that asked a question.
Mhm.
So she did good. I give her a thumbs up.
How about over here?
Well, it was obvious that Dr. Jones and I dealings with her, by working in a mental health caring facility. She would consult with us. So we had her on a panel that would evaluate how we are reacting to our clients. And she would give us tips on, how we can better be service providers. And I've seen her at a couple of other, events, and there's no question about her commitment to what she's doing. Was she from New York or Chicago? From Chicago. And one thing that she always talks about, by having the mosaic right here in our community, she's big on that. And she says, and it was interesting that she said, 60% of her clients are immigrants. Okay.
Yeah.
So it really touched her that her folks
Yeah.
was in here. And I think she had a feeling that she was talking to family, which is why. And the thing that resonates with me about her is that she's honest. That's who she is.
Mhm.
She wasn't putting on an air.
Yeah.
And she wasn't up here talking to you.
Yeah.
She met us where we were.
Yeah.
And she talked to us in that vein. Like she's having a conversation with us. It wasn't even like it was a doctor talking to a patient, but it was like somebody in your family that really cares about you
Mhm.
and really wants you to be special. And she's like that all the time. All the time. I mean, like the first time I saw her, one thing we shared, and I told her I was retired, and she said, "Steve, I look forward to being retired, but right now this drives me."
Mhm.
And I said, "Doc, I've seen you in action, and I know you're driven, and I want to be the first one to welcome you to retirement when you retire, because you will have deserved it more than most folks that I know." And the other doctor, Dr. who?
Goldberg.
Dr. Goldberg resonated with me when I asked the question about what is the use of the prostate when you're young as opposed to when you're old? And he came right out and he handled that question right on point. It has one purpose, and that's for procreation.
Hmm.
And so once you're older, you don't have that, you may not need it anymore. And then he did say, because I was pointing when I said, well, what about sexual, activity and intimacy? And what was his answer? He said, I can promise you that guys that have gone through it have not, lost much. They can still perform and they can still be, strong. Okay. And it was important for that to come up with all these black men
Yeah.
and men of color in there to say, no, you don't lose any of your manhood.
Hmm.
Like going back to what Courtney said with his grandfather, Courtney he tells that one better than I can. But yeah, it's something that made me feel comfortable. So those were two professionals that, I think it really meant something for them to be here. I think they got as much out of this
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
as we got
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never met her before,
Mhm.
Oh.
and
That
that
was
was the
my
first
first
time
time
meeting her.
Oh, wow.
And I had a personal one-on-one conversation with her before the event even started,
Oh, really?
and I felt comfortable talking to her.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was just for me. It was fun, just exciting talking to her to see a black woman
Right.
talking about something like that with me, because that's not normally something I would do.
Mm.
I was joking around with her before the
That was
event.
Oh
impactful.
yeah.
I was joking around with her before the event. I didn't even know she was the doctor. Like, really?
Yeah, her spirit.
Yeah. So I was joking around with her. I had no clue who she was. I didn't even know she was the doctor. I was like, doctor?
Wow.
She's personal.
Very
It's-
personal.
yeah,
Very,
she is.
very.
People
Okay.
person. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
make you feel comfortable.
And she's
Mhm.
looking forward to doing more stuff like that here.
Oh,
at the
that would be
CLC.
wonderful.
So
I can see it.
Mhm.
I can see it. So before we close out, just gonna spend maybe 5 or 10 more minutes asking questions. Like I said, we have some questions I see on YouTube and Facebook, but I did see a hand in the audience, in the live audience. I was wondering if you were still interested in answering your question, or had it been answered for you, sir?
It was the eggplant.
Ah, okay. What about the eggplant?
we already asked her the rest of
Oh,
it.
okay.
I'm already after. I just, I mean.
Ain't no more left. I took the rest.
I cook a lot of eggplant myself, and she just had this twist on it, and I was trying to see if I can.
He want the recipe.
I wanted to get that recipe.
He want the
to
recipe.
enhance mine. She let me know right away that
Chinese secret.
if I wanted a plate, I mean a bowl,
And,
right? A
It's
platter.
classified. It's classified. She'll tell you that she had the key.
All right. Anyway, I will be ordering some of that. You know, I don't
I
mind
can-
paying for something I like.
I
That's
can
it.
tell a quick story about the eggplant. So I made my family enjoy eggplant. I kept doing it until it got better. It took a while to get better, but it got better. But the reason why I got better is I had a friend. Um, she's no longer with us. She actually passed away from cancer. She was Italian young lady. She used to come down to the studio when I had the fitness center on Whitesboro Street. And she noticed that I ate eggplant and she was like, she was surprised that I like eggplant because it's the Italian dish. And she was like, I can help you make it better, but it's gonna be a little bit more fat and she's gonna make it like she said, I know that you don't want it to be unhealthy. You want to keep it healthy. And I did keep it healthy, but it was one thing that it was one secret that she told me so that it wouldn't be mushy. Because one of the problems that people have with eggplant is the texture. And so she gave me that secret, and I'll take it to the grave.
I'm gonna figure
So
it
I
out.
said, when I put it on the menu, it's going to be called Maria's eggplant.
Mm.
Because he's no longer with us.
Does anybody else want to say anything else? We're going to comments here. So I'm going to give a special thank you to Big Bro JV7. The food was made with a lot of love. He also said wonderful event. And he also said I came to learn about us. So thank you, Big Bro JV7. You actually left a lot of comments. I'm just going to show one more because of the time. And he says, peace to everyone and salute to everyone in the chat from the 315. So that is Big Bro JV7 listening and watching on YouTube. Thank you, Big Bro. Appreciate you. And then we have a couple of comments from Facebook, and this is Lakeisha Jordan, who says, God bless you all. And God bless you too, Lakeisha, and thank you for listening and watching and tuning into us right here. And Angela Carr says, hey to everyone. Hey to you too, Sister Angela, and thank you for listening and thank you for watching it. And last but not least for our comments, we have Sonia Martinez. Sonia Martinez, excuse me. Sister Tioka has to add eggplant to her menu at the center.
Okay.
It's not about
All
you.
this black ink. Don't want that.
So that thank you for our listening. Thank you all to our listening audience at home who's watching, for our live audience who's here, who's watching, and to all who are joining us now. But I wanted to know, does anybody have any closing statements before I close us out? Does anybody want to say anything that they might have been thinking but didn't get an opportunity to speak about?
Please go get checked.
There's still time, right?
You're still alive.
There's
Yeah.
no time.
There's still time to get the free examination that Mohawk Valley Health System is offering at Faston.
Wow. So did you hear Sister Tioka? Say it for the people in the peanut gallery.
There's still time to get free testing for the month of September that Mohawk Valley Health System is offering at Faxton. The Faxton Center, I think it's called.
Yes.
So go get checked.
And the testing is free.
And the testing is
That's important
Mhm.
because sometimes insurance can be tricky.
Mhm.
It's recommended to get tested at 45, but I believe in African American communities, we need to get tested sooner. So as we wrap up this Circle of Strength follow-up conversation, we want to once again extend our heartfelt thanks to the Mohawk Valley Health System for sponsoring this event and the follow-up event is also sponsored and hosted by the Carol L. Crooms Business Education, Cultural, and Activity Center. Thank you for having such a welcoming space, a safe space, may I add. Not only is it welcoming, but it's a safe space for the community. To all of our guests and to everyone in the live audience and watching online, thank you for being a part of this important conversation during Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Let's keep the momentum going. Keep sharing the message that early detection saves lives. Keep reminding the men in our families and our community that we need them, we love them, and we support them. Together, we are building a true circle of strength. Thank you for joining us. This is Reality Speaks TV, real people, real talk, and real time. And until next time, stay informed, stay connected, and stay healthy. Thank you for watching.
All right.
Very good.
That was great.
Good job. Good job.